Hello, everybody. Joe Bag Donuts here, and welcome back for another episode of Utawarerumono, Mask of Truth, where, dude, I'm so sore and tired. Like, I'm dying. I'm dying right now. This transition to a day shift schedule has been kicking my ass. On top of, starting teaching my class again. I pretty much read out loud for like 6 hours every single day. So the last thing I want to do when I get home is then sit down and start reading some more for like 2 hours. Like that's a lot. On top of just being tired from the day shift to night shift transition, and then I've been going to the gym after work, so I'm tired and sore from that. Like right now, my chest, like the muscle that goes from like your shoulder to your chest across the front, I was doing some like what are they called? Like butterfly presses, dumbbell presses, whatever, where you pretty much stick your arms out like straight out to the side when you're holding the dumbbells when you're lying down on a bench, and then you bring them upwards so that way your like knuckles are touching, and you just kind of like flap your arms like that. Oh my god. I did a set and I didn't stretch properly afterwards, and my chest feels like it's made out of steel cables that are tightened, and it like when I like lift my arms and move them around, like it pulls and it's sore, and it doesn't feel very good. So I've been in a sour mood from that, from working, from being tired, so I pretty much didn't do anything all week. My bad. Hopefully next week though, I'll be more acclimated to my schedule and I'll actually be able to record. Ugh. But in the meantime, on one of the down days when I tried to record, I turned on the game, but then I just didn't have the energy. I said, fuck it, I'm going to do some free battles and some of the Munachika training. So I did. Or not the free battles, the team battles, and then some of Munachika's trials, which there's not really that many of them unlocked. A lot of them you need to be like level like 20 with certain characters. You need to complete certain stages. Yeah, like Nozoru needs to be 28 or up. There's one towards the bottom where it's like characters need to be like level fucking 40. Like it's crazy. Some of them are actually pretty tricky. Also, found out that we get Fumaril as a unit. Not just from this, but for one of the training courses, she's a unit you control. I've done pretty much all the available ones except for this one. Just ignore that. But yeah, actually learned some stuff too. Like the where is it down in here? Hidden criticals. What that is essentially is on attacks where there's multiple hits, even after the attack ring, like it goes down, you hit your X. If there's another attack in that animation, you can hit it again, like right before it connects, to score like another bit of critical damage. That's crazy. I didn't know about that. Only some characters have it. It's really hard to do consistently. I'm not able to do it. Like I just end up kind of spamming it, and if I get lucky, it'll hit. If we get into a fight this episode, I'll try to show it off if I'm able to. Besides that, some of our units leveled up a little bit. I don't think I allocated BP. I might have. No, there's definitely some that I need to allocate that out, but we'll do that later. Pretty much everyone's almost level 20. There's a couple down in the 19s. A couple that are level 18 still, but coming close. But yeah, everyone's good to go. I'm ready to go. So let's hop right into it and get things rolling. Events. I see. We'll do the standard clockwise rotation. So, hallway it is. This hallway gets a lot of foot traffic. Oh, it's actually a different hallway than normal. Unless this is the normal hallway, but now it's like winter, so they put up like these dividing wall barriers to keep the heat in. I don't know. With her permission, I enter Kuwan's room and find her with Fumaril and Nekone.
いらっしゃい、オストル。あら、オストル様。どういたしました？
So I keep trying to like move my coffee cup and my cords are hitting stuff. I just got like a little, if you can hear me shaking around, like a little pill calendar thing because I can never remember to take my medicine. So it's like, oops, did I take it today? And then I end up double dosing or just like skipping it because I'm like, I probably took it. So that helps me stay on top of it, but it's kind of bulky and just there's nowhere good to put it on my desk. So it just kind of goes wherever.
兄様、どうしてこちらに？
ああ、大したことではないが、クオンに少し相談したいことがあってな。
I calmly respond, taking a seat in an open space. I glance to her desk and realize there's a long row of medicinal bottles lined up. Kuon passes one of them to Nekone.
はい、どうぞ。ありがとうなのです。
それは、まさか、猫根が何か病にでも。
Yeah, don't worry about it.
そんなに深刻そうな顔しないで。
Girl stuff.
ただの香水だから。
Also, hold on, I gotta turn on my AC. Now that I'm recording, I'm realizing like, oh, it's kind of getting warm in here. It's like 11:30. There we go. It shouldn't come up. You shouldn't be able to hear it. Unless it starts rattling my window, which is really annoying. I have to like prop up a bar against like the window frame in order to keep it from rattling and shaking. Kuon seems to notice my gaze, reassuring me with a small smile. I guess I'll let my worries show on my face.
姉様の勧めで身だしなみに使わせていただいているのです。
そうだったか。
殿方は心配性ですね。
I lean a bit closer, a mix of relief and curiosity. I detect the faint residual tinges of various perfumes in the air.
それで相談って？
そちらの仕事が済んでからで構わぬぞ。急ぎではないゆえ。
そう。
Yep, don't want to get in the way of girl
今
time.
日入荷した薬草の受け渡しが済むまで少し待っててくれるかな。
ああ、承知した。
姉様、それでしたら私もお手伝いを。もちろん私も。いいの。
So many little helpers.
これは崩しの仕事だから。二人とも座ってて。
Also, that's fair. A lot of plants do look really similar from each other, but have entirely different properties. Kuon rises as she speaks.
そうそう。分かってるとは思うけど、この部屋には危険な薬品も多いから触ったらダメかな。
Obviously.
随分と信用がないな。
I'm just gonna start chewing on random roots. Trying to restrain a smile, I nod as stoically as I can.
心得た。
本当に危険だから。
After a firm second emphasis, Kuon finally makes her way out.
猫根が香水を使っていたとは知らなかったな。
Now she's getting to be that age.
兄様は鈍感すぎるですから。
I hadn't noticed it until now, so I don't have much of a response to that.
兄様は何の相談に来たのです？
I mean, a good perfume shouldn't be like a punch in the face. Like, it should be a subtle thing that you don't outwardly really notice. Unless you're like right up on them, which I don't really think you're gonna be with Nekone, in all honesty.
ああ。先日ネズミに蔵を荒らされたという報告があってな。何か駆除をするような薬はないかと。
Get the antifreeze.
失礼するぞ。クオンはいるか？
Just when I'd finally gotten to the topic at hand, a familiar face appears.
オストルか。クオンはいないのか？
クオンは今席を外しているが、休養なのか？
いや、急ぎではないな。
Are you trying to find someone else to gamble with? Noseri shakes her head. She seems hale and hearty enough. No signs of sickness or malaise.
なら座って待ってはどうだ。少しすれば戻ってくるだろう。
どうぞ、こちらに。そうか。では、そうさせてもらおうか。
With that, she sits down.
怪我でもしたですか？ああ、違う。そんな大したことではない。いつもの薬を受け取りに来たのだ。
Noseri seems unruffled by Nekone's concerns.
クーちゃんはどこにいても大人気
Is she at least charging you guys, or is this all on like government health insurance? Is the state reimbursing her for materials and man hours? I nearly forgot my question, absorbed in Fumarel's soft voice, but something still stands out to
い
me.
つもの薬と言ったかそのような話は初耳だが
まあ、ただの肩こりに効く薬だからな。
肩こり
Yeah, talk with Fumarel about that.
なるほどな 休日を得意とするノスリにとって
Yeah, I
肩こり
mean,
は持病のようなもの
but
か
not like that, not from overwork. Well, the muscles might be getting a workout, but not from drawing a bow. As I ponder this, Nosuri lets out a small sigh.
いや、重くてな。
As Nosuri says this, her eyes lower.
まあのっちゃんもですか？本当に困りますよね。
Fumarel places a hand to her chest, nodding sympathetically.
ああそっちか
With their respective gestures, I finally realize. I look back to Nekune, who's been quiet for a while, and for some reason she seems to be staring intently at Nosuri's chest area.
猫ねどうかしたのか
なんでもないのです。
She's just silently lamenting right now. And she looks away grumpily.
なんだ
殿方には分かっていただけないですね。
これは
I mean, but speaking of chest pains, I'm with you guys on this one. Or, I have a bit of shoulder. My shoulder's a little bit sore, but not nearly as my chest muscles, because that's not a muscle you use very often. So, working it out, and I wasn't even doing a lot. I was only doing like 3 sets of 10 reps, and I was only using like 15-pound dumbbells, because I knew I hadn't used these muscles in a while, so I didn't want to jump in with like a 30-pound dumbbell and end up like crippling myself. But even just that many reps with like a relatively low weight was enough to get me to be like, oof, youch. Nosuri plucks up one of the bottles on the desk. She takes the cap off, gives the bottle a sniff, and her eyes widen slightly.
ほう、香水か。
Oh, her eyes opening. I thought like her pupils dilated. I'm like, oh shit. Fucking Nosuri got hit with the fent. Looks to be one of the little bottles that Nekune and Kuwan have been talking about.
のすりさんも興味あるのですか？
当然だ。いい女たるもの。常に身だしなみにも気を配るものだからな。
それならこれなんて
A
ど
little
う
girl
でしょう？
smell is fine, but you don't want it to be like disgusting.
いい香り。もう少し甘い感じにできないかお願いしてみようかしら。
ほほう。
Having found a common topic, the 3 girls settle into contented chatting.
ノスリもこんな話題に食いつくんだな
ほほう。これもいい香りがするな。
姉様が出してくださったのはこれだけなのです。
Don't go start like rummaging through drawers.
うん。そうなのか。もう少し爽やかな香りのするものがあればよかったんだが。
Like grass. Nosuri's eyes just happen to wander to Kuwan's medicine box.
その中には
クオンの薬箱だからな薬が入っているだけだと思うが
Yeah, not the most pleasant smells.
そうなのか。その中に他の香水が入っていたりは。
No, I don't think so.
くーちゃんは大事なものをいつも薬箱に入れて持ち
Well,
歩
I
いて
say
いる
that.
んですよ。
There honestly might be.
だから
With like soaps and bath bombs and
だ
stuff.
が薬箱には触るなと言われたのでな
Ah, but there's a girl touching it, so it's fine.
そうか。おお。そう言われると
Uh-huh.
余計に気になったりしないか。
くーちゃんのことは
You're really just gonna
Don't
plop down a
necessarily
locked
put them
box
in
in front of the
the
rogue and be like, don't open it. It's locked. You're not supposed to be in here. And then turn away and expect them not to try to open it.
いやだからといって触るわけにも
そもそもクオンが人に薬箱を触らせたところなど見たことないな。
いろいろと危ないものが入っているからなのです。
猫ねは気になったりしないのか。
Not really. It's probably just gonna be like strange looking black pills and powders. For the briefest of moments, Nekune's gaze wavers. She remains expressionless, but deep in her eyes, I can see a hint of curiosity.
なあ、オシトル。 ちょっと覗いてみないか？
んクオンの薬箱。怖いもの見たさで興味があるといえばあるが。
Did it break? There we go. Weird. Actually, I have my fan blocking it, so I can't see it very well. Let me see if there's any, like... Eco. I don't care about eco. Turn that shit off. Set it to cool. The filter light's blinking. I might need to clean that. That's why it turned off. It was set to eco mode, so it's like, it's cool enough in here, and tried to save power. It's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, burn through all the coal, cut down another forest. Like, make my room cold. I hesitate for just a moment at Nozoru's suggestion, which is apparently all the approval she needs. She reaches for the medicine box. However, Nekane grabs at the box and pulls it into her lap protectively.
姉様は触るなと言ってたのです。
Nozoru only shrugs at Nekane's sharp reprimand.
仕方ない。そこまで言われてはな。
With that, Nozoru sits herself back in her seat. Nekane seems to give a soft sigh of relief. No, you're wide open! Nekane delicately places the medicine box back on the desk, and a faint spring-action click breaks the silence. The top of the box flips open.
あ、
あ、
開いたな。
今のは
Yep, completely unintentional, not our fault.
ん
So we can't, there's nothing to stop us from accidentally peeking inside. No, we didn't do it on purpose. One of the jars catches my eye. Its label has rather a large symbol of a bee. Nekane frantically scrambles to close the lid, but before I've even thought about it, I picked up the little bee-marked jar.
兄様
これは蜂の印ということは蜂蜜か何かか。
It could honestly
なんで薬箱の中
actually just be like bee venom or something. Which, yes, honeybees technically are venomous. The poison and the stinger. Something is poisonous if it's on the outside and it gets you by, like, touching it. Something is venomous if it has to bite or sting you and inject it into you. That's the difference between poison and venom. Now you know. Out of curiosity, I popped the lid off the jar, and the sweet aroma of honey hits my nose.
蜂蜜か。
にしては随分と香りが強いな。蓋を開けたくらいでこんなにも甘い香りが漂ってくるもんだったか。
もしかしたら香りの強い花の蜜を選んで集めたものなのかもしれないです。
よし。ならば私が
I
毒
mean,
味
the
を。
pollen and type of plants the bees get their honey from does affect the taste and smell of honey.
いや待て。どうしてそうなる。
Also, if you have seasonal allergies, it does help a little bit to, if you can get like locally produced honey made from the pollen and plants that are giving you issues, because eating it will like introduce it to your immune system and, you know, kind of help train your body on it. It's kind of like getting a shot, like a vaccine. That's all seasonal allergies are. It's your immune system overreacting to like getting pollen inside of you. So, if your body can be accustomed to it, then it knows, like, oh, maybe I don't need to freak out as much. Apparently satisfied with her own excuse, she draws closer to the honey, lured in by the scent. She scoops up a fingerful and takes a lick.
なんだこれは。こんな蜂蜜食べたことがない。
Astounded, Nozoru reaches for the honey again.
おい、ノスリ。
ホストルもどうだ。これはなかなかの一品だぞ。
She tips the mouth of the jar expectantly towards
い
me.
や、さすがにそれがしは結構だ。
Maybe just a little.
そうか。では私はもう一口。どうして薬箱の中に蜂蜜が。
That is because honey
いや、
is an
しかし
antibacterial.
これはなかなか。
Also, the fact that Kuan just likes to eat honey. But beside that, her medical excuse is, yes, honey is antibacterial. It can be helped to treat wounds, Like, I'd have to look at it again, but it is like one of the... It's like an ancient thing to do of, like, putting honey in bandages before you apply it. Because it helps kill the bacteria and keep you from getting an infection. Pretty sure it can also be used to make, like, salves and, like, burn ointments and stuff, but I'm not as familiar on that topic. Nosuri shows no sign of stopping.
どころか心なしか蜂蜜を舐める頻度が速くなっているような。ノスリー、その調子ではなくなってしまうぞ。
しかしなあ。
She can't stop herself from having another taste, even mid-sentence. My curiosity gets the better of me, and I finally extend my hand. A sigh of surprise and contentment escapes me. It's a strong, sweet taste, with a strange addictive twist to it. Nekane gives us an obviously judgmental stare, raising her voice in warning.
兄様、早くしまうです。姉様が触るなと言っていたです。
あ、いや、すまん。ついな。
Yeah, the pheromones, they got me.
これは
The queen bee.
まあ、クーちゃんのお手製だなんて。ここはやっぱり味見しないといけませんね。
Fumero leans in from the side, snagging a scoop of the stuff for herself.
おいしい。フミリルさんまで。
Nekane gives us a disapproving look.
そうおっしゃらずに、どうぞ。
Yep, once you have a taste, then you're an accomplice. Smiling, Fumero scoops out a fingerful of honey from the jar, presents it proudly to Nekane.
何ですか？
せっかくだ。猫ねも少し舐めてみてはどうだ。
そんなこと。
Despite her words, she seems clearly fixated on the honey. Her gaze flickers back and forth between the jar and Fumero's fingers.
なに、これだけの量があるのだ。少しくらいならわからないだろう。
But even so, Nekane looks terribly troubled at the prospect.
きあり。
Yep, just shove it right on in there. At the first sight of Nekane opening her mouth, Fumero swiftly tips the honey in before she can speak.
これで仲間。
Nekane tries to reply, but she can only widen her eyes in stunned silence.
おいしい。
気に入るだろうと思った。
Saying so, I take the cover into my
さ
hand.
すがにこれ以上はまずいだろうしな。
You don't want anyone to notice. I feel a weak tug on my sleeve.
どうした猫ね。これは
もう一口。
Looking down embarrassingly, Nekane manages to ask without quite asking.
そのもう一口だけです。
Faced with the puppy dog eyes, I give up on closing the jar.
まあもう一口くらいなら大差。
では私。
Yeah, no, Noser, you've eaten like half the jar. Let Nekane have some.
私もお供いたします。
Carried away in the moment, Noseri and Fumero both eagerly reach for more.
クーちゃんたらすっかり腕を上げて。
これは本当にいいもの。だな。
Uh-oh.
ごめんなさい、姉様。
Uh-oh. Somehow, in the middle of all this, Noseri and Nekane start sounding a little odd.
おい、二人とも大丈夫なのか？
何を言っている。ただ蜂蜜を味わっているだけではないか。
うん、問題ないのです。
Uh-huh.
全然平気です。
I thought we could have just a little taste and then stop. But they both keep licking as if possessed, and soon enough,
あ
with half the contents gone from the bottle, Nekane and Noseri suddenly collapse.
二人ともどうした？
I look between them, flustered, and find that they're both fast asleep.
一体何が？
無理もありませんわ。これは薬草を加えて発酵させた一種の蜂蜜酒ですもの。陽明のためトゥスクルではよく作るんですよ。
Cool.
これがとても強い酒だとは。
Yeah, no bite.
蜂
It's
蜜
like getting a
自
Long
体を
Island
発
iced
酵
tea or
させ
trash
る
can.
のでとっても強いんですよ。本当は舐めるように含むんです。
Barely even notice it.
他にも薬草や香草が入れてあって味を調合するんです。滋養強壮にとってもよく効くんですよ。
なるほどな。
本当に美味しい。これなら誰でも飲めちゃいますも
So
の。
this is like just eating the entire bottle of like Flintstone like vitamins because you like the taste,
いくら褒めたところで勝手に薬箱を
which is actually like really dangerous. I remember reading a story about some kid who went to the
不
hospital
安に怒られるだろう
because
な。
his like body was shutting down because he got like liver poisoning from eating an entire bottle of vitamins, like the gummy ones. Like too much of like all this random vitamins.
こんなに減ってしまいました。それに二人ともよく眠っていて
Yep, we just gotta
もう
apologize.
ごまかせませんね。
どうしたものだろうな。
Or we just leave and
そう
blame
で
it
す
on
わ
them.
ね。ここは一つ
何か明暗があるのか。
一緒に土下座をいたしましょう。
Mm-hmm.
二人でこってりたっぷりと叱られれば大丈夫。
Yeah, she's not even gonna hit us. It's gonna be great.
やはりそれしかないか。
My shoulders droop in disappointment. All right, Anju's room. One day in the early afternoon,
正常がお呼びと
my brush stops mid-stroke. I'm a little caught off guard by the sudden request.
何はともあれ、ルモイの席を奪還し守備を強化している今、朝廷軍が今すぐ仕掛けてくることはない。この小康状態のうちにこちらもできるだけ体制を整えておかないといけないんだが。
はい、兄様。何でも緊急とのことなのです。
Ah, but you never know with that girl.
緊急ね。今度はどんな無理難題を言い出すことや。
Mm-hmm, he knows. Despite my misgivings, I rise from my seat and make my way towards Anshu's room, leaving the rest to Nekune.
そばにいる宗近が戻ってからは呼び出されることは少なくなったが、さて
参られたか。
Seeing me approach, I get tired and yawn. Oh. Munachika greets me from the door of Anshu's chambers.
正常がそれがしをお呼びになったとのことだが。
ああ、オシュトル殿は忙しいとおいさめしたのだがな。どうしても会いたいと押し切られてしまった。許されない。
All right. Well, let's hear it. Munachika sighs, though her face remains fixed with a forced smile.
さすがの宗近も随分と王女さんに振り回されているらしい。
Still, considering the state she was in when she first got to Enakamui, it's probably a good sign that she's back to her old
正
innocence.
常は中に。
大変お待ちかねである。多少の無理は笑って流していただきたい。
When doesn't she? Returning her stiff smile, I take a knee in front of the double sliding
仰
doors.
せにより、ただいままかり越しました。
ご苦労なのじゃ。入ってよいぞ。
Munachika slides the door open as Anju grants me permission of Castis. Ooh. I can see the princess smiling at me from within, seated on a grand throne-like chair. Once inside, I greet her as a subject, kneeling deferentially.
正常にあらせられましては、ご機嫌麗しく。
堅苦しい挨拶はよい。それよりも押しとる。もう少し近うよれ。よく顔が見えん。
Oh, what am I getting a message for? Ah, automated little thing
なるほど。
telling me a package shipped.
It's
It's
not
like,
all
yeah,
just
I know. Hiding a small smile, I draw a little closer to the blinds. Anju nods happily, then speaks once more.
この国は良い国じゃな。痩せた土地ではあるが、民に笑顔がある。落ち延びてきた世を受け入れてくれもした。さすがはそなたのふるさとだけある。
ありがたきお言葉。
ただ
Yeah, it's great. Just don't ask
もう
me
少
about
し
my
賑
memories
や
here.
かであればよかったのじゃが。
Anju sighs quietly. More than likely, she's remembering the imperial capital.
教習か。都は物流の中心でもありますゆえ、人も物もこの国では及びませぬ。
Hearing those words, Anju speaks with a serious expression.
してオシトルよ。帝都奪還にはいかほどの時間がかかる。
I'd imagine this campaign would take years,
なるほど。
like realistically.
これが呼び出したわ
Like
け
it's
か。
either gonna be like a flash in the pan or like a protracted, drawn out, like campaign. No middle ground. I straighten my posture at her question. I've known for some time that Anju wants to take back the imperial capital as soon as possible.
こうしてルモイの席を奪還し、宗近も戻ってきた。あとはすぐにでも帝都を取り戻す。
It's a little more complicated than that.
現状では無理でありましょうな。比嘉の兵力に差がありすぎますゆえ、下手に挑めば踏み潰されて終わりになるかと。
焦りは禁物。今は何よりも土台を固めねばなりませぬ。
Munachika comes to my aid, supporting my points. Anju seems to understand the gravity of the situation, but she asks one more question, apparently just to confirm.
それはそなたらの力をもってしてもということか。
Yup.
ヤマトの双璧オシトル、帝都の守護者宗近、そなたたちの力をもってして
It's a
も。
tough one. We're kind of in a box.
お忘れか。立ちはだかるのが同じ双璧である三日月だということを。
Plus Raiko and Woshis and, well, that's kind of it. All the other pillar generals are kind of sitting this one out for the time being.
そうだ。向こうには三日月がいる。オシトルと共に双璧と呼ばれた存在。
俺はお隠れになった正常の命により、故に帝都に攻め上がる者は全て撃ち滅ぼす。それが何者であってもだ。
この仮面とオシトルという名があっても有利とは言えないのだ。それにいくら宗近が戻ったとはいえ、仮面を失ってしまってはその
Yeah, like I said, we're in a box. Sure, the box has gotten bigger, but
そう。
there's not really much we can do at the moment. We gotta make some more foundational plays, otherwise we're gonna tip over if we try to overextend. Anju looks down, vexed by the news. I feel some uncertainty stir within me at the
本
sight.
当はあまり期待させるようなことは言うべきじゃないんだがな。物事は一朝一夕にはならず。確かに今すぐは難しいかと。しかし我々は着々と力を蓄えつつあります。帝都奪還の悲願が成就する日は間もなく訪れましょう。今しばらくの辛抱かと。
そうか。期待しておるぞ。
Yeah, we'll get to it, but you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. Anju's face breaks into a grateful smile as she meets my eyes, and a familiar wave of guilt passes through me.
今さら罪悪感など捨てたはずなのにな。ではそれがしは兵たちの様子を見てきますゆえ。
I stand up quickly, as if to shake off my feelings of guilt, and prepare to leave, sending Anju into a slight panic as she hurries to get her words out.
待つのじゃ。来たばかりではないか。もう少しせっかくこうして二人きりなのじゃぞ。
I
積
mean,
もる話の一つや二つ。
when the Chica's right here, it's more like the three of us, but
いや、
don't treat her like furniture,
それ
yeah.
がから
そもそもなぜもっと世に会いに来ぬ。世はこんなにもそなたを心待ちにしてお
Man,
ると
bitch, we
いうの
work.
に。
We're busy.
そういえば最近は忙しくて顔も出していなかったな。とはいえ今後も忙しくなる一方だろうし、 適当に濁して
Yeah, we can't say we just forgot.
正常は大和の帝となるべきお方、それがしといえど頻繁に参じるわけにはいきませぬ。
Anju's face falls, clearly disappointed by my response. But within moments, she brightens again. It seems like she's had an idea.
ならヨがそなたのところに行けばよいのじゃな。
ああ、そうきたか。なんという本末転倒。あまり出歩いてほしくはないんだな。いえ、それは
文句はあるま
You
い。
know, give him indigestion.
これならばオシトルが忙しくとも問題はない。我ながら明暗じゃ。
I just barely managed to hold back a sigh.
正常、あまりわがままをおっしゃいますな。
Anju looks awkwardly to Munechika, as if just now realizing she still existed.
そのじゃな。宗近、そなたしばらく外に出ておるのじ
Yeah,
ゃ。
quit eavesdropping. Scram.
それはできません。
すまぬな。ってなんでじゃ。
小生は正常の盾。常に付き従い、御身を守護いたすのが使命。
Mm-hmm.
そば
Yep,
を
even
離れる
even if we know Ostra's not
Gongo
going to do
Dora.
anything, you know, what if you trip and fall and hit your head and there's no one there to catch you?
内密の話なのじゃ。
小生には聞かせられぬと。
そうではない。そうではないのじゃが。
ではなんと。
とにかく大切な話なのじゃ。それに今ここにはオシトルがおる。オシトルが隣におれば何も怖いものなどないのじゃ。
Munechika lets out an exasperated sigh.
オシトル殿、すまぬがもうしばらくわがままに付き合ってくだされ。
わがままとは何じゃ。国税を決める上で書くことのできぬ重要
Oh,
な
I'm
相
sure.
談なのじゃ。
I'm quite sure.
内密な話じゃからな。
It's just your idea of what
誰も中には入れてはなら
constitutes
ぬぞ。
national policy is quite different than what everyone else thinks it is.
承知。では、お頼み申す。
Sighing at Anju's behavior, she finally leaves the room.
のう、オシトル。
は、
Anju addresses me once again. Our response sounds a little more startled than I intended. Thankfully, Anju doesn't seem to notice. Instead, she rises with a cheerful expression, beckoning me closer.
して話とは。
なに、少し面白いことを思いついてな。ちょっとこの椅子に座るのじゃ。
Which chair? Saying so, Anju pats the chair that she's been sitting on. You mean your, like, imperial throne?
は、
じゃから座れと言ってあるのじゃ。
That chair was made for Anju by the castle town's finest craftsmen, a masterpiece made in the image of the original throne. To sit in that would mean...
いやいや、さすがにそれはまずい。
Mm-hmm.
それはできません。
そう固いことを申すな。所詮はただの椅子。誰が座っても変わらぬの
That's the
じ
thing,
ゃ。
though. It isn't just a chair.
世が良いというのじゃ。何の問題もなかろう。ほれほれ。
Anju smiles impishly, tugging on my sleeve.
やれや
It would probably be worse to refuse at this point. Against my better judgment, I sit in the chair.
れ。と、
Then, with no warning, Anju plops down into my lap. She even leans back, making herself comfortable without any hesitation.
あ、正常？
これはなかなかの座り心地なのじゃ。
聞いてないな。玉座に座らせただけでなく、さらにこれとは。というか、ここまでされると、もう何
You're
も
kind
言え
of
ん
stuck.
な。宗近を外へ出すはずだ。こんなことがバレたらいつもの折感どころじゃないん
Should
だ
probably
な。
beat up the both of you.
とはいえ、すげなくどかしたりしたら、王女さんからしたらオシトルにそうされたってことだ。
Can't allow that.
下手をすれば果てしなく落ち込むかもしれん。それこそ式に関わるくらいに。ここは騒がず、
Mhm.
飽きるまで
Big picture,
待つ
big
しか
picture.
ないか。
It's all for the, grand act of nation building here. They need to let yourself be sat upon. I steel myself, having made up my mind. And for some reason, Anju stares up at me. She looks extremely pensive all of a sudden.
どうされました？
Then, Anju suddenly looks down.
もしかして違和感に気づかれ？
ついに愛してるに
What?
矢の気持ちが伝わったのじゃ。苦節うん10年、どれほど待ちわびたことか。
Decades!
ついに世の勝利
How old
じ
are
ゃ。
you again, Anju?
おう
Unless by decades you mean like
アシタル
2 right on the dot.
はあ、なんでありましょう。
呼んでみただけじゃ。
そうでありますか。
ぬくもりと香りが。
Oh god.
王女さん、乙女にあるまじき表情をしている。
After a while has
オ
passed.
シトルがいるのならどうしてほしいかな？
Ugh.
なりませぬ。誰も入れるなとのことでありますゆえ。
なんだ、
これは急ぎの要件だから。
この声は宗近とクオンか。
では、小生がご用件を受けたまわりまする。
オシトルに直接話しておきたいことだから。
Yeah, we can yell through the door from here, it's fine.
それでも、通すわけには参りませぬ。
Anju's been pretty relaxed until now, but at the sound of the voices, she frowns.
何事じゃ。世の至福の時を邪魔しよって。
The real heroine, that's who.
宗近がアンジュ第一なのはわかるけど、私の知っている宗近なら優先順位を間違えたりしないんだけどな。
Uh-oh, she's playing mind games. Munichika's too stupid to think this through.
それで何を隠しているのかな？
何のことか分かりかねる。
別にいいけど、どうしてもらうから。
Kuan can like fucking run circles around her.
オシトル、ちょっといいかな？薬の備蓄についてなんだけど。
Just as Anju lifts her head, Kuan takes a couple of light steps into the room, and our eyes meet.
何をしてるのかな？
Kuan gives us a bright smile, but there's something menacing in it. The very atmosphere of the room seems to change. I can't say why, but I feel a chill run down my spine.
いや、何と言われても、もしかして何か誤解されている？クオン、これは。
なんじゃクオンか。今は取り込み中じゃ。
Yeah, shoot,
後にするがよい。
As if to silence me, the two confront each other, eyes locked. Kuan continues smiling eerily, and Anju speaks, making her bad temper clear.
そう？でもそっちと違ってこちらは大切なことだから。
I
何
guess
を
they
言
never
うの
really
じゃ。
did get
こ
along,
っち
huh?
だって大切なことじゃ。
とてもそんな風には見えないけど。
わからんやつじゃの。オシトルは今世の相手をしておるのだ。そな二人だけの甘い時を邪魔するでない。気の利かぬやつじゃ。
聖女、その言いようは。
Yep, no fighting, no fighting, no fighting in the war room.
オシトルもそう思うであろう。
Seeing Anju calmly looking to me for support, clinging onto my arm, Kuan sighs, exasperation clear on her face. And, left with no other option, she takes hold of my other arm.
オシトル、そんなことよりちょっといいかな？
You will literally tear this man in twain if you both pull on him. He doesn't stand a fucking chance. Being pulled on both sides, I rise from the seat, but Anju only tightens her grip on my arm, glaring at the girl across from her.
そういえばそなた、どこかへ逃げ帰ったのではなかったかの。
またとんでもないことを。
With a fierce tug, the two of them pull on my arms. Oh, you're gonna, like, dislocate both of his shoulders. A faint creaking can be heard. Not the nearby wood settling, or anything in that atmosphere, but the distinct sound of fabric under stress.
腕が抜ける。
The two pull harder and harder, facing each other down with strangely tight smiles. Not only that,
いい加減、 その手を離してほしいんだけど。それは世のセリフじゃ。
My joints scream out in pain. My limbs are being twisted in ways that feel physically untenable. By now, I would normally have let out a yelp of pain at the very least, but
自分ならともかくオシュトルがそんなことを口にするわけにもいかんし、これはもう二人を説得してやめさせるしか。
even as she's like pale-faced and sweating and slightly trembling.
二人ともまずは冷静に。
I try to be as diplomatic as I can, a cold sweat beating on my forehead. But if they're past the point of listening, they just pull even harder.
冗談じゃない。このまま綱引きされた日には自分の体がちぎれるぞ。
一日も早いテートの奪還のためにはこうして遊んでいる時間も惜しいのでは。せいてはことを仕損じるというじゃろう。
それを王女さんが言うか。
Unable to resolve the situation on their own, they pull forcefully on my arms. Pain has gone beyond all measurable levels.
このままだと死んでしまう。お二人は大岡裁きという神話をご存知か。
No? You're pulling out Old Testament here? Facing the crisis of my life, I end up practically shouting in self-defense.
なんじゃいきなり。
Kuan and Anju respond at the same time, startled by the unfamiliar legend, and thankfully, that eases the pressure somewhat. Caught between their questioning gazes, I feel myself freezing up. I just blurt out the first thing that came to mind.
だがこの気を逃せば脱出の糸口はない。なんとかそれらしい話で二人の興味をそらさないと。今よりもはるか昔、人々のいさかいを治める大岡越前という神がいた。かの神は人心を介し、人情味あふれる見事な裁きで知られ、人々の味方として人気があった。ある日、かの神のもとにある厄介事が持ち込まれた。なんでも
Yeah, you know, just cut him in half. You can each get one part.
どちらも自分が本当の母親だと言って一歩も引かず、人々を大いに困らせていた。そこで神はこの腕を持ち、力いっぱい引き合って勝った者を実母とするのはどうかと提案する。
Kuan smiles brightly, and Anju seems satisfied by the idea, though they haven't heard the story to the end.
ふむ。つまり引っ張り合いに勝てば大手を振ってオシトルをはべらせることができる
I'm
のじ
actually
ゃ
not
な。
entirely sure about that particular story. I know the one about like the horse. Like it's a very similar what do you call it, a fable? If it's actually in the Bible, I don't know if it's technically a fable, but story? I don't know. Where it's like, I don't know, the horse owners claiming that their mares had a foal and the foal and they're trying to find out whose it is, and they're both claiming it's theirs, so they like pen both the mares away and then let the foal out, and it'll runs to his actual mother.
どうしたらその解釈になる。
つまりオシトルは勝った方の要件に付き合うということでいいのかな。
異論はない。いざ。
Oh dear.
お二人とも話はまだ途中。
聖女、何やら騒がしいご様子
Those
です
are
ね
our bones. Our ligaments. Caught in a desperate situation, I see Munachika slide the door open and peer in, apparently drawn by all the commotion.
失礼した。どうぞごゆるりと。
The door closes quietly.
ふむ。では好きにするかな。
ちょっと待った。
せーの。
せーの。
Both sides yank with all their might, and as pain kicks in, I feel my consciousness fading. The ear-splitting scream that followed could be heard throughout the castle. It spawned more than a couple ghost stories among the guards thereafter. Oh, how wacky. One morning, while I'm taking a walk to relax after finishing up some paperwork.
オシュトル殿、 少し良いか。
宗近殿か。どうされた？宗近が王女さんのそばを離れるのは珍しいな。
正常のお姿を見なかったか。実はまた部屋を抜け出してしまわれ
I
た
don't
の。
know. Look in the pantry. She seems more exasperated than worried. Anju's probably not in any actual real danger.
都にいた頃のように遊び癖が出てきたか。いや、それがしは存じ上げぬ。そもそも今日は王女さんに会うどころか姿すら見ていない。
そうであるか。
A small sigh escapes her.
てっきりオシュトル殿のところに入り浸っているのではと思ったのだが。
何にせよ、居所がわからぬままではもろもろ差し障る。お探しせねばならんか。
頼めるか。小生もこのまま城内を見て回るゆえ、オシュトル殿も心当たりを。
心得た。
Exchanging nods, we make our way down the opposite ends of the hall.
王女さんの行きそうな場所か。こっちに来なかったということは別の場所なんだろうな。さて、
Considering my options, I make my way out of the castle.
とりあえずは城の外周のあたりを探してみるか。
I'm headed to a specific place outside the castle, the edge that lines up with the cliffs. Normally, the square there is full of soldiers training. I notice a familiar face at the gate, looking towards the square.
クオンか。何を見ているんだ。
As I approach uncertainly, Kuan notices me coming and turns to face me.
あ、オシトル、迎えに来たんだ。
迎えに？
Was she out training or something? Seems like Kuan staring towards the square we usually use for training. With the soldiers out training in the mountains, the square is pretty empty. But I do see one recognizable figure.
王女さん、こんなところにいたのか。
おお、オシトルか。良いところに来たのじゃ。
At last, Anju seems to notice me, beaming in my general direction.
なんじゃ、そなたもおったのか。
Her tone sours as she notices Kuan standing next to me.
私がいたらいけなかったかな。
まあよい。それよりも見るのじゃ、オシトル。この剣の荘厳な姿を。
Again, not really a blade. It's more like a cudgel, but she proudly hoists her gigantic sword, its blade far exceeding her height. The sword originally fell from the sky during our confrontation with the Princess of Tuskar, as if joining the fight from the heavens. Anju swings the sword with ease and grace, like it weighs no more than a branch. Each swing of the sword sends out a blasting gust of wind, and it kicks up motes of dust around us, even so far away from her.
何度見てもこれは何の冗談だと思わされるな。小さな体であんな体験を軽々と。もう物理法則を無視している領域なんじゃないのかな。
Yeah, pretty much. It's magic, hand wave it.
今までこの世界の人の強さは嫌というほど見てきたが、さすがに王女さんのこれは兄貴。いくら自分の後継者として気合を入れてたとはいえ、ちょっとやりすぎだろう。
The people that now live on this land were created by mankind, but Anju herself was specifically made by the Mikado. Despite all her tomboyish tendencies, in the end, Anju is the one destined from birth to rule over Yamato. And so she's more capable than she looks, in a lot of aspects. It stands to reason that her resilience and monstrous strength fall under that.
兄貴も思い入れが深いというか、心配性というか。
A little column A, a little column B. Probably just thought it'd be funny too.
やっぱりどう見てもあの剣は絶対に面白がってるかな。
Yep,
はあ、どうしてこんなことを。
you were acting kind of like a spoiled brat at the time, so. Next to me, I can hear Kuan muttering. Even with all the ludicrousness of the scene before me, I bow before Anju as her subject, reporting to her without lifting my
聖
face.
女、宗近殿が心配しております。どうか部屋にお戻りになられますよう。
まあそういうでない。
Anju hums happily, giving the massive blade another experimental swing. But the sight of that sword in her hands terrifies me.
今明らかに頭の上をかすめていったぞ。
Oblivious to my panic, Anju smiles innocently.
やはりこの剣は素晴らしいな。大きさは手頃で重さも手に馴染む。何より全力で振るっても折れるのが良いの。
Her eyes gleam with satisfaction.
のあ、そなたらもそう思うじゃろ。
手頃馴染むご冗談を。そんなのお嬢さんくらいしか。いや、半端ないバカ力じゃないと触れないですよ。などと本音を言うわけにもいくまい。
Kuon can say it though.
確かにかなりの技物とお見受けします。
A bit old though.
ええ、そうね。そうじゃろ、そうじゃろ。しかもこの剣はあの高慢ちきなトゥスクル王女をボッコボコにして懲らしめたのじゃ。この剣
Yeah,
が
that
世
dumb
の元
bitch.
に
She
来た
got
の
what was
も
coming to her, huh?
偶然ではなくまさに必然。いな、天の導きに相違あるまい。まさに天の剣じゃ。
Kuon staring at her with a distinctly sour cast to her
ど
expression.
うかしたのかクオン。
なんでも
気のせいか。それはともかく宗近は今も王女さんを探し回っていることだろうし、部屋に戻ってもらわんとな。聖女、そろそろ城の中へお戻りいただけませぬか。
それはつまらぬのじゃ。そうじゃ、ちょうど相手が欲しいと思っておったところじゃ。そなた、相手をせよ。
You would kill us. Though, having done the team battle, I realized that I made Oshtor particularly fucking annoying to fight. Oh my god. He can just dodge everything. You get him down to 0 health, and then he has this special ability where he comes back to full health, and it's like, ugh! Like nightmarish. It took me like 5 minutes of beating on him from all sides to take him down. Oh, and he also has this stupid taunt. So he'd hit people with the taunt, and then I'd have no choice but to attack him back and do 4 damage because he dodges everything or defends. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Paying my words no heed, Anju breezily makes a suggestion of her own.
何言っちゃってるのこの王女さん。そんなのが相手しろとか人を殺す気か。
Such is the role of the doting uncle, my dude. You gotta get the shit kicked out of you sometimes.
ほれ、自分の身くらい守れた方がよかろう。オシトルが自身で稽古をつけると言うてくれたら身が入るのじゃがな。
Anju smiles innocently, waiting for my answer. Her unquestioning trust is a testament to Oshtor's abilities, but
さすがにそうホイホイと命を投げ出すわけには。というか、そんなの受け止めたら小枝のようにへし折れる自信があるぞ。恐れながら進化であるこの身が正常に刃を向けるなどあってはならぬこと。
denied. Firmly denied. Holding back the growing dread within me, I do my best to appear calm and unruffled.
なんじゃ釣れないの。ちょっとくらい羽目を外してもよかろうに。
Nope.
どうかお許しを。万が一正常を傷つけようものなら、このオシトルの首を
I don't know,
差し
Kuon
出して
can
も
fight you if you
なお
want.
借りませぬ。
You know, she's just here on loan.
愛も変わらず頭の固い男じゃ。ならば、せめて世の話し相手を。
さようであられます。
Sneak attack! A sharp voice rings out, freezing Anju just as she's puffing out her cheeks.
それほどまで相手を所望されていたとは。
Anju jolts with the sudden nervous energy. Slowly, painfully, she turns to look behind her.
胸近。
A note of fear creeps in as she sees Munachika standing at the ready behind her, fully equipped for battle.
やれやれ、いいところに。ってなぜ完全武装なんだ。
クオン殿、知らせていただき感謝いたす。
Yeah, go on, you rat! Anju whips around to where Kuon was, but her spot is empty. Looking around in a panic, she sees someone waving cheerfully from the entrance of the square.
いえいえ、どういたしましてかな。
Can't quite hear her, but I can make out the general
と
gist.
いうか、いつの間に。
With such a swift retreat, it's a fair guess that she expected this situation from the beginning.
分かったな。
正常。少々お戯れが過ぎる。御身がいたずらに姿を消されては下々の者が混乱しましょう。まして今は戦時下。御身に万が一があればどうなるか理解しておいでか。
待って、こんなのはちょっとした息抜きじゃぞ。何もそこまで怒ることは。
勘違い召されるな。小生は怒ってなどおりません。
本当か。
ところで先ほど組手の相手が欲しいと。
一体何の話じゃ。
さすれば不詳ながら小生がお相手いたす。
Yeah, because we're not angry, we'll take you up on it.
おお、怒っておるではないか。
Anju looks quickly to me as if asking for help. So I keep my head down and act like I don't notice. If I say anything now, I just know I'm gonna end up caught between her and a vicious, fully armed Munachika.
それでは構えを。
待つのじゃ。
Anju's garbled protest dissolves into a scream as Munachika's massive fist pounds into the center of the sword. The metallic clang resounds across the landscape as gauntlet meets greatsword.
握りが甘い。せっかくの剣を取り落としまする。さらに
With those short words of advice, Munachika pounds a merciless chain of blows into the greatsword in the princess's hands. Anju cannot keep her grip against Munachika's assault, and the sword flies from her hands. As if it were aimed specifically at me, the repelled sword flies straight towards me. Twisting my body with all my might, the flying sword slams into the place I was standing just seconds ago.
あのまま立っていたら間違いなく真っ二つだった。
この通り簡単に武器を奪われま
Such
す。
is life on the battlefield. You live like on the razor line between life and death. Munachika speaks with cool indifference to a pale, shaking Anju.
分かった。世の考えが甘かった。だからもうこのくらいで。
何を言われる。この際正常には護身程度には剣を扱えるようになって
Now you must learn how to defend yourself without a sword.
生半可な知識で剣を振るうと怪我のもとでありますゆえ。さあもう一度剣を。
何が護身じゃ。世は今まさに身の危険をひしひしと
Well,
感
we
じ
practice
て
how
お
we
る。
play.
参る。
ちょっと待つのじゃ。
小生この方、待てと言われて待った敵を見たことはありません。
Well, she's got a point. Hurriedly, Anju runs over and tugs her sword out of the ground. She steadies herself once more. However, Anju's protests were in vain, and the lesson continues.
これは急ぎこの場を抜け出さねば。
Nope, we're out. Anju suddenly throws down her sword and scurries behind me, clutching at my robes and shoving me forward with her incredible strength.
正常。
宗近が乱心した。助けてくれ。
まずい。このままだととばっちりどころか矢面に立たされる。何をおっしゃられる。
Yep, there we go. Right under the bus you go.
無にしてはなりませぬ。
I speak with as much joviality as I can muster, trying to usher Anju forward.
あの目を見よ。すでに脱ぎそむ神と化しておる。
いやいや、宗近のあれは間違いなく王女さんを心配しての行動だろう。だからこそどうにも始末が悪い。宗近殿は正常の恩義を思って心を鬼にされているのです。ここは素直に胸を借りるのが
Yes, trust your
上に立つ
tutor.
お方の務めかと。
あのような胸、まともに借りたらコッパみじんに吹き飛んでしまうわ。良い顔しとる。世の前から動くでないぞ。
いえいえ、正常こそ万人の前に
Just gotta like lose your shirt, dude. Like shed it like a lizard's tail and scurry away on all
戦陣を
fours.
切るのはそなたの務めであろうが。
Munachika surveys us with cool eyes, as we two desperately try to shove each other in front.
正常。そのように何かの影にお潜みになってもいかようにも攻め方はございます。
やっぱりこっちのことは障害物としか思っていな
God,
い。
she's gonna do like a Baiji Kwan, like she's gonna fucking punch you, but the force will go through and hit her.
はよどうにかせよ。押しとる。
だ だから話せって。このままだと自分まで巻き込まれる。
Cool. Munachika settles into her stance and closes her eyes.
冗談だろ。
All I can do is gape, confronted with incoming pain.
マイル
The iron fist slams in my core, and I choke. Paying no attention to my current condition, she winds up again.
手が違うぞ、宗近。
I wish I could shout that to her, but that one blow completely emptied my lungs. I've got no breath left to speak. Munachika pulls her fist back, and as expected, with her eyes closed, she unleashes a fury of punishing blows. The shield that Anju had so trusted can only stand there, resolve crumbling.
分かっていただけたか
Munachika sighs, her voice slightly unsteady. Her face looks more worried than anything, like an older sister fretting for her sibling.
誰かを盾にしただ放埓に振る舞えばいずれ己がその咎を償う
Yeah,
こ
look
と
what
に
your
なる
actions have done to poor Ostor. As Munachika's gaze lowers, Anju looks down as well, shamefaced.
宗近、その世が悪かった。
その言葉ぜひオシトル殿にも
Once he wakes up, anyway.
オシトルすまぬ。世が聞き分けなかった。
Yeah, that's about right.
部屋にお戻りいただけますか
Kuan, can you scrape us off the floor, please?
む、
Anju nods quietly, emerging from behind my back. The tension leaves Munachika's shoulders, and she extends her hand to the princess.
仕方ありませぬなでは戻りましょう
Anju grips her hand tightly.
オシトル殿誠にかたじけなかった
オシトル、その世と宗近は先に戻っておるからな。
With Munachika pulling her hand, Anju starts to walk away,
もう
walk
宗近、
slowly away
そ
again.
の
What?
どのくらい世を探したのじゃ。
Starts to walk slowly away. Brr.
城中くまなくさすがにこちらにおいでとは予想できませんでしたが
もうこのようなことはせぬ。そうじゃ、わびに世が茶でも入れてやろうかな。
Ugh.
さすれば小生が
よいよい、世がそうしたいのじゃ。
Yeah, though I honestly can't
せっかくだから
remember
ウル
if
ディアも
Anju's
呼ん
good
で
at
茶
tea or
会で
not.
も開くかな。
Like, part of me would imagine she can't brew for shit, but also she is like the imperial
戻り次第
princess. So
準備をせねばなりませぬな
I imagine like tea etiquette has been like fucking bashed into her skull by Munachika. And so the two of them return to the castle, speaking happily of trivial matters. And after Anju and Munachika leave, a gust of wind blows, and the man remaining collapses like a house of cards. Poor dude.
外ですが、どうぞ。
ああ、すまぬな。
I slowly lift the teacup to my lips.
疲れた。眠い。
With my mind still fuzzy, I take my time with the after breakfast tea the tea is prepared. That's because of the concussions, dude. You got holes in your brain. An emergency had come up, and I'd been dealing with it all night. The rising sun is so bright, it feels like my eyes are getting stabbed. On top of that, I had a huge breakfast, and it's left me feeling like I could go right back to sleep.
結局一晩かかってしまったからな。だが、これで一つ肩の荷も下りた。
お疲れ様なのです、兄様。
すまんな。付き合わせてしまって。
仕方ないかな。急ぎだったし。
Yep, the urgent thing that won't be specified. It was just really important. Don't worry about it. Even saying so, Koen cannot hide her yawning.
ふーちゃんは夜遅くまで起きてる
Bro,
のが
I
苦
have
手
trouble
で
staying
す
up
もの
late.
ね。
It sucks.
そうなんだけど、
それだとなんだかおばあちゃんみたい
Now,
に
this
聞こえ
entire
る
week,
かな。
I've been in bed by like 7 p.m., 8 at the most. Sleeping until like, realistically, 5. I have my alarm set for 6, but usually I'm up at 5 o'clock.
そう言われると近所のおばあ様とかそんな感じでした。
私も手伝えたらよかったのですが。
Not much you can do.
ルルティエは
You need someone making
ただでさ
coffee
えこの
nonstop
城の
on
台所を
the
支えてい
emergency
るの
night
だ。
shifts.
これ以上無理はさせられぬ。それにルルティエに倒れられでもしたら皆が心配する。その気持ちだけありがたく受け取っておこう。
はい。
とにかく今日はみんな疲れているだろうからゆっくり休むといい。
いいのけ？さすがおしとるはん。いい男や
手伝ってくれたものだけな。
Yeah.
え。いけ
I doubt you were much use for paperwork.
平気なのです。兄様こそ少しお休みになった方がいいのです。
ああ、そうだな。
That's for just like sleeping in your car during lunch. That's the only rest we get. Now that I realize, my eyelids feel pretty heavy. I was focusing all night. That's probably why my joints are all achy too.
もういっそここで横になりたい気分だ。
わしゃ
Oh god, don't get side tackled. As I somehow lever my tired body up on my feet, Shinanon charges full speed at me with an excited shout.
と
Leaning down, she stampedes towards me. I swoop her up and hoist her in the air. She grins wide, chatting happily.
なあなあ、おしゃ、すごいの見つけた。すごい部屋がある。
A room?
ほう。一体どんなものを見つけたのだ。
な、
Shinanon seems puzzled, not sure how to answer my question.
とにかく行くぞ。すごいの見つけた。
Alright. Apparently unable to think of a good answer, she just repeats herself and tugs on my sleeves.
シノノン、兄様は今お疲れなのです。遊ぶのはまた今度にするですよ。
We'll see the cool room first, and then we can go to sleep.
疲れてるのか？それじゃあ遊べないな。
Shinanon's shoulders droop dejectedly.
思えば城内ではなかなかシノノンの遊び相手も見つからないだろうからな。少し付き合ってやるか。いや、少し散歩でもしようと思っていたところだ。
With a smile, I hoist Shinanon up and sit her on my shoulder.
兄様？
なに、構わぬさ。
うわ、高いぞ。
Shinanon flails about happily.
でも兄様、さすがはおしゃ、話がわかるな。
Mm-hmm, he's a man of quality. After reassuring a reluctant Nekone that I'd be alright, I stroll out with Shinanon on my shoulder.
行くぞ、おしゃ、出撃だ。
ほっほっと。それでどこに行けばいい？
それはついてからのお楽しみだ。
What? The direction is a surprise? We need to know which way to go in order to go there, dude. Shinanon points me in the next direction, looking very
どう
determined.
やら目的の場所があるようだ。しかしすごい部屋があるというが、そんな部屋などあったか？
Kuan was interested, and she originally planned to come along, but
ごめんね。限界かな。
and with that, Kuan sagged to the floor, and Fumuro took her back to her room.
クオンは無事につけたかな。
She's fine.
フミリルがついてれば問題ないだろうが。
こっちだ、こっちだ。
なんだか楽しそう。
ん？
お？ふお姉ちゃん。
フミリル殿、クオンを部屋に連れて行ったの
Oh
では
yeah,
なか
but
った
now
か？
she's done, and she wants to come along because it seems like fun.
でも面白そうだったのでこっちに来ちゃいました。
Yeah, just threw her ass right onto the futon and is like, alright, see you later. Closed the door and came over
来
here.
ちゃいましたって。いいのかそんなんで。
よし、ふお姉ちゃんも一緒に行くぞ。
一緒に行きましょうね。
はんはん。
そういえばシノノン、ヤクトワルトはどうした？一緒じゃないのか？
父ちゃんは酒臭いからダメだ。
Dad's been hitting the bottle.
飲み負けたんだって言ってうずくまったら動かなくなった。
Yeah, let the man rest.
そうか。
そんなことより全身だ。あれを見たらきっとウシも驚くぞ。
At least your dad's like a fairly good drunk.
ここだぞ。
Has the good manners to just like lie down and die instead of causing issues. Saying so, Shinanon slides down from atop my shoulders.
突撃。
With that, she opens the sliding door and strides into the room with no hesitation.
ここか。ここは確か空き部屋のはずだが。
Huh, look at that. Following her inside, I see an adorable room spread out before me. All around the room, I see tons of different stuffed animals, big and small, some of them draped in colorful cloth.
なんだ。随分と可愛らしい部屋だな。
まあ
I like the cool lamp.
ここはもしかして誰かの寝室か？いや、しかし。
Shinanon seems to have charged ahead for a flying tackle to one of the larger toys. She rolls happily around on the floor with it.
なあ、すごい部屋だな。
まあ確かにすごい部屋だな。こんな人形だらけの部屋は初めて見た。しかしこんな可愛らしい趣味を持った人物がこの城にいたか？
Don't know. I stare at one of the nearby toys. Looks like some kind of teddy bear. Unless this is just Fumaro's room.
なるほど。動物の姿を模しているのか。見たことのない形もちらほらあるな。
こんにちは、しーちゃん。
Fumaro holds one of the stuffed animals in front of her, talking in a slightly different voice and wagging its arms.
お、こんにちはだ。
しーちゃん、お友達になりたいな。僕と遊んでくれる？
いいぞ。何して遊ぶ？
じゃあ、山にキノコ取りにでも。
何をしている？
Or Munachika's room. I hear an unexpected voice from behind
宗
us.
近殿？
オシュトル殿か。小生の部屋に何か？
いや、勝手に入ってしまったのはすまぬ。すぐに出て。宗近殿の部屋？
そうだ。
このぬいぐるみは？
小生のだ。
Nice.
宗近殿の？
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
小生が作ったものだが、
Oh, you made
この
them?
子たちが何か？
No, that's cool, actually.
いや、別
You're
に。
quite skilled.
いや、何かあるわけではないが。なんというか、
Just, a bit of a
宗近
disconnect
自身
there,
から
but
感じる雰囲気と、部屋の内装に感じるそれとがまるで違うという。
just goes to show that she's a good person. Munachika's eyes flicker away, apparently self-conscious. Her cheeks are turning a tinge of redder, too.
まあ、この子たちが宗近様の子供たちだったなんて。
フミリル殿か。
一人一人が丁寧に縫い込まれて、宗近様、この子たちをとっても大切になさっているのです。
At her words, Munachika's cheeks flush, and she pointedly avoids Fumaro's gaze.
別に。
やっぱり宗近様は素敵な方です。
ここまで顔を真っ赤にしている姿など初めて見た。
Oh yeah, you've
さすがに
broken through her
宗近
shell a bit and looking at her soft underbelly, the real her.
何か？
So, I wouldn't mind seeing Munachika's actual, soft underbelly, if you know what I mean. Waka waka.
いや、なんでも。
ゴロゴロドーン。
Shinanon, still rolling around with the stuffed animal, collides lightly with Munachika's leg.
お？
Shinanon raises her voice in confusion, briefly stopping in her rolling journey. Munachika freezes.
か？
かわいい。
おう。
いや、なんでもない。
As the flustered Munachika tries to correct herself, she straightens once more and turns to face Shinanon.
シノノ、元気そうで何よりだ。
お姉ちゃんだ。
いや、小生は宗近だ。
Ah, too many syllables.
そうか。シナナンはシナナンだ。そして
Yep, Shinanon is
この子
Shinanon.
はドドリンだ。
Shinanon holds up the stuffed animal that she's been flopping around with.
ドドいや、その子にはユキという名が。
もしかしてドドリンはお姉ちゃんなのか？
いや、だから。ああ、そうだ。ここの子たちは皆小生が作った子たちだ。
そうか。じゃあ勝手に遊んじゃダメだったか。
Shinanon's shoulders sag, and her expression turns gloomy. Munachika hurriedly corrects herself.
いや、乱暴にされるのは困るが、遊んでいただく分には構わぬ。この子たちも喜ぶ。
Yeah, toys are made to be played with. She gently pats the head of the stuffed animal in question, and for a moment, I feel like I see a faint smile on her lips.
本当か？じゃあお姉ちゃんたちも一緒に遊ぶぞ。
いいよ。
Oh god, I think I was right the last episode. It's like, yeah, Munachika's biological clock is ticking, and her hormones are going into overdrive. She's like, oh fuck, I need to have kids.
よし。まずは
Making stuffed animals, hanging out with Shinanon. She's gonna go into
今日から
overdrive.
お前はババンコだ。
いや、その子はユン。
お前はレンブリム。お前はイアンバだぞ。
タンポポ、スズラ。
お姉ちゃんこれ持って。うんちょす持ってて。
Winchers.
ああ、モモをな。
Shinanon passes another stuffed animal to an increasingly uncertain Munachika, and the three of them begin to play.
なかなかいい雰囲気だな。気のせいか、時折宗近が落ち込んでいるようにも見えるが。
With Shinanon now in Munachika and Fumaro's capable hands, I let out a sigh of relief.
それにしてもすごい数ですね。
And maybe a sigh because you stayed up all night. Munachika, can we crash on your couch?
今は数十
It
という
looks
ところ
quite
か。
comfy.
トゥスクルにいた折に作った子たちも皆持ってきた。
あの氷の中にはこの子たちがぎゅうぎゅう
Well,
に
they are
詰まって
caught
い
and
たのです
just
ね。
squish them down.
そういうことだ。
Well, Munachika still looks a little embarrassed. Fumaro seems quite impressed.
なんか眠くなってきたな。シノノンのことは二人に任せておけばいいか。
お姉ちゃん行くぞ。
Munachika nods with a smile. Shinanon seems to be absorbed in moving and gesturing with the big animal in her arms.
そうだ、シノノン。シノノンに新しい子をあげよう。昨夜完成
Oh, hell
した
yeah.
ばかりのとびきり可愛い子をな。
本当か？
What is it?
ああ、ほら、この子だ。
Munachika rummages in the back and pulls out a stuffed animal that seems to be made with many colorful materials. She passes it to Shinanon.
うわー、いいのか？くれるのか？
よかったですね、シノノ。
わあ、ありがとな。友達にしていっぱい遊ぶぞ。
Oh, is that the bunny that Shinanon in Munachika's trials? Like Shinanon's hanging out sometimes watching, and she has like a big pink bunny.
大切にしてやってくれ。この子の名は
ドロタボーだ。ケイドロの弟だから当然な。
Saul bad guy.
というか、どこがどう当然なんだ。
いや、その子はフロー。
よろしくな、ドロタボー。今日から一緒だぞ。
あ
She's got to give up. Munachika's head drops sharply forward. She's given up. I'm kind of the same way. Munachika's like, no, you need to play with the toys properly. You gotta do it right. You can't. You're not following the rules. But kids don't like to follow the rules. They like to make up their own.
今日はまたいい天気だ。外に出てきて正解だったな。
Stretching my arms towards the sunny sky, I stroll forward. The sunlight feels nice. Thanks to all my paperwork, my body's been pretty stiff
た
lately.
だでさえ忙しいんだ。休める時に休まないと参ってしまうな。さて、少し散歩したらお茶でも。
I stop in my tracks, noticing two familiar figures before
今
me.
屋にいるのはルルティエとココポ
Hey,
か。
Kokopo! Haven't seen Kokopo in a while.
もうココポったらお願いだからおとなしく座ってて。串が届かないの。
Lucia seems to be struggling with a strategy. With a scraggly feathered Kokopo.
水浴びの後はしっかり溶かさないと。もうダメったら。
Nuzzle nuzzle. Apparently interrupting Luditia's efforts as invitation to play, Kokopo seems instead to be cuddling up to her, unable to sit still.
なかなか大変そうだな。少し手伝ってやるか。
こーら、邪魔しちゃダメ。いつまで経ってもボサボサ
I
の
doubt
まま
Kokopo
なの
really
に。
cares that much.
大変そうだな。何か手伝えることはあるか？
オシトレ様。
Apparently recognizing me, Kokopo tweets
お
happily.
前はいつも元気だな。だが、ちゃんとルルティエの言うことを聞かないとな。
As I reach out to pet the bird's head, Kokopo starts rubbing up against me, as if trying to climb on top of me. Nuzzle, rub, rub, rub.
そんなにくっついたらくすぐったいだろう。
もうココポったらごめんなさい。
Smell like wet
オシト
bird.
レ様のお召し物が濡
Which
れ
is
て。
probably disgusting. If you've never been around birds, they fucking reek.
いや、問題ないさ。好きにさせたらい
At
い。
least chickens do. Chickens are so gross. I fucking hate chickens.
ごめんなさい。
Having like infinite free
コ
eggs
コポ
is
ったら
nice.
オシトレ
And,
様
you know,
に
the
吸引
occasional
がついちゃったみたい
roast
で。
chicken, but cleaning up and taking care of chickens is awful. I fucking hate chickens, dude.
そうなのか？
They're mean, vicious little shits too. Sometimes you'll go out and there'll be like one that's dead and they've like pecked the thing to nothing. There's like nothing left.
以
Just
前
the
はこ
bones.
こまで甘えたりはしなかったと思うのです
Chickens are
が。
cannibals. They see blood, they'll fucking kill you. It's a thing that some like chicken farmers will get, like essentially red sunglasses to put on their chickens, so that way everything looks red. So that way they won't notice, you know, if another chicken is hurt and then immediately gang up and tear it apart. They're vicious little fucks. I hate chickens.
前と同じような絡まれ方だったから気がつかなかったな。確かに傍からならそう見えてもおかしくないか。
一体何がきっかけだったのでしょうか。
Don't worry about it. Just likes your vibe. Lucia tilts her head, looking between Kokopo and I.
この前うまそうな果物の実をあげたのだ。それで気に入られたのだろう。
そうなんですか。よかったね、ココポ。
また手に入ったら持ってこよう。楽しみにしているのだぞ。
Kokopo gives me a curious look.
それにしても相変わらずココポの世話は大変そうだな。
いいえ、そんなこと
Hopefully
ないです。
Kokopo doesn't try to rip your
こうやっ
mask
て
off
触
and
れ
end
合って
up
いる
like
だけで楽しいですから
tearing your face off with it.
でも
What are you doing? Why are you
今日は
wearing
なん
that?
だかいつもよりご機嫌みたいで、なかなかおとなしくしてくれなくて。
Petting the affectionate bird, she smiles, though with a bit of
先
exasperation.
ほども言ったが何か手伝えることはあるか？
いいえ、
Oh, distract him?
オシトレ様のお手を煩わせるなんて。
気にすることはない。日頃からルルティエには世話になっているし、ココポもいつも頑張ってくれているからな。
ありがとうございます。では、お願いしてもいい？
ああ、任せてもらいたい。
では、ココポに串を通していただけますか？その間に私はご飯をあげてしまいますので。
うん。さて、ココポ。
What kind of brush do you use to brush a bird? I imagine they'd be quite wide teeth on the comb in order to go through the feathers, but I take Luditia's brush and start going through the more amused parts of the bird's feathers. Unless it's like you're not brushing the individual feathers, but you're brushing the little strands that make up a feather to straighten them out.
はいココポいっぱい食べてね
You know, I haven't seen a horse-sized bird before, so I'm not quite sure, what the standard grooming practices are for it. Lunatia presents a handful of feed beneath Kokopo's eager beak.
慌てないでたくさんあるからゆっくりね
さすがはご主人様といったところか。慣れたものだ。自分がやったりしたら腕ごと食べられてしまいそうだな。
I'm struck for a moment, watching her feed Kokopo, stroking the massive bird's neck all the
お
while.
っと、ほうけている場合じゃない。やることはやらないと。力加減はこのくらいか。
I straightened Kokopo's feathers with a couple flowing strokes of the brush.
気持ちよさそうだな。ちょうどいい加減だったみたいだな。
Poke, poke.
ん？どうした？まだ食べている途中だろうに。
But Kokopo seems more interested in playtime than in food, giving me a couple incessant beak prods. I just barely stop a powerful beak thrust from out of nowhere.
おしとる様大丈夫ですか
平気だ。このくらい受け止めるのは造作もない。危なかった。伊達に何度も食らっているわけではないからな。
よかったもうココポったらいきなりそんなことしちゃダメでしょ
いや、元気が有り余っているのはいいことだ。だが今日は特に元気だな。
Yeah, what is it, like nesting seasons? Kokopo need to like build a nest in order to get the energy out?
でもちょっと前まではエンナカムイに着いた頃は元気がなかったんです
そうだったのか。とてもそうは見えないが。
本当にほんの少しだけ
Mm-hmm.
でもオシトレ様が元気になってクオン様が戻ってきてそれからですいつもの元気を取り戻してきたのは
元気が有り余りすぎていると思うがな。言うことを聞いてくれないのも困りものであろう。
Sometimes you just gotta deal with it. You gotta negotiate with them.
大丈夫です慣れてますから
If you've been around horses any amount of time, you would understand that.
どうした？おっと。
And as the saying goes, lead a horse to water. Can't force it to drink. You can't force a horse to do anything. In this case, you can't force Kokopo to do anything. You gotta try to strike up a deal. I peer into the bucket, not noting it's empty.
よし。ちょっと井戸まで行って汲んでこよう。待っていてくれ。
それなら私が行ってきますオシトレ様はここで
Yeah, talk to the
い
bird.
や、それがしが行こう。ルルティエはそのままココポの世話を続けてくれ。力仕事は任せてもらおう。
そんなありがとうございます
どうした？引っ張られると水を汲みに行けないんだが。
Yeah, what are you getting at here, Kokopo?
遊びたいのなら水を汲んできた後にでもしてくれないか？その後ならいくらでも。
ほらこう言っていただいてるからね待ってよ
With a slightly dismayed chirp, Kokopo finally releases my
よ
sleeve.
し。それでは手早く行ってくるか。
Bucket in hand, I amble out of the stables, heading for the well nearby.
それじゃあココポその間にきれいにしておこうねココポ
Suddenly, Kokopo runs off, charging straight to...
オシトレ様危ない
Oh god.
重い。
You might have hollow bones, but... Or, well, you seem to be a ground-dwelling bird. Or maybe kind of like a in-between bird, like a turkey or a pheasant, where you like roost up in trees, but you spend most of your time on the ground. You'll probably still have mostly hollow bones, but still a big bird. With a cheerful twittering, Kokopo leans over, showing me affection by sitting directly on me.
やっぱりこうなるのか。 でも待てよ、この体勢なら。
ココポほら、どかないとオシトラ様が。すぐにどかせますから。
いや、このままでよい。ルルティエはそのまま櫛でついてやってる。
Yeah, you know, he's firmly distracted by staring down at me.
今ならココポもかがんでいるし、手が届くだろう。
でもオシトラ様がお辛いのでは
Yeah,
ない
we've
です
lived
か。
through worse.
平気だ。しばらくは持つだろ
なら早めに終わらせますから。ココポ、じっとしててね。
For that, she starts working, brushing the feathers of the bird on top
う。
of
さ
me.
て、暴れないでくれよ。
Kokopo seems to calm down, though I'm practically being crushed, letting out a peaceful chirp.
こうしてココポの世話をするのはオシトルになってからは初めて。この夏希よ、動物にはやっぱり誰だかわかるのか。
Yup. While I marvel, Rutia keeps working, and
こ
eventually,
れでよし。終わりました。もう動いても大丈夫です。
you'll have to tell Kokopo
そう
that.
か。よしココポ、そろそろどいてくれないか。
Nuzzle, nuzzle, nuzzle.
なんだ、離れてくれないな。まだ遊び足りぬのか。
ココポったらよほどオシトレ様に甘えたいみたい。
そうらしいな。まったくどうしたんだ。
Rebound after, you know, losing Haku. Such a heartbroken bird. Nuzzle, nuzzle, nuzzle.
本当にオシトレ様がお気に入りなのね。なんだかまるで遊んでいるみたい。ハク様と。
Uh-oh, now you're gonna make yourself cry. Udatia suddenly stops. Like her whole body just froze up.
どうかしたか。
Even Kokopo looks to Udatia suddenly, as if worried about her
ちょっ
feelings.
とだけ思い出してしまっただけですから。もう大丈夫です。
思い出す。
いえ、何でもありません。それよりも水汲みがまだでしたよね。
ああ、そうだった。しかしこれでは。
Inconveniently, I remain an unfortunate seat for the stubborn bird.
ではみんなで行きませんか。それならココポも寂しくないし。
As if in agreement, Kokopo tweets a little louder than usual.
確かに。また体当たりされてはたまらぬからな。わかった。今行くからつっつくんじゃない。
I give Kokopo a look, but the bird only flaps energetically. We all start on our way.
それではいつもみたいに3人で行きましょ
ん？
う。そんな、どうして私オシトレ様にハク様を重ねてしまうなんて。
I mean, they kind of look alike.
どうした？やはり何かあったのか？
ごめんなさい。ちょっと勘違いしてしまって。なんともありませんから。
Yep.
なんとも。
For a moment, the Lutia stops, her eyes to the ground, but within seconds, she looks up with a smile, continuing as if nothing happened.
行きましょう。置いていっちゃいますよ。
ああ。
いいお天気でよかった。早く行きましょう、ココポ。オシトル様も。
She walks ahead as she speaks, but for just a moment, I catch a glimpse of Luditia's smile, somewhat sadder than usual. She's probably going to feel emotionally conflicted about this later. Be like, oh fuck, am I like subconsciously supplanting, you know, Aku in my mind with Oshtor and like what that means? Am I a bad person for doing that? Like, is it just because I miss him, or is it because I like Oshtor? She's like, ah! Little does she know it's the same guy. But, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we've moved through our little fun side scenes. So that is where we're going to end it here for today. And next time, we will reconvene and move on with the story for real. So, once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and check out the Discord link in the description down below. Become a member today and give me your money. And I will see you all next time, where hopefully the story moves on forward now that we're, reacclimated. We had our little calm, relaxed period, and now it's ready for another spike up. So, catch you guys then. Bye-bye. Mwah.